I wouldn't do a series just because Drax as a series would be really rough. I mean, with the makeup and everything,
Yeah,
it'd just be too tough. But what I would like to do is, honestly, and this is not my idea, I'm stealing this idea, but James Gunn had the idea to do a Drax Mantis movie.
Ooh.
And that's what I would be up for because there's just too much fun there.
Yeah, no, all right, hold on. A Drax and Mantis team up movie.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's, James Gunn, let's get on the phone with James Gunn right now.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make some moves and get that started. That's
when
amazing.
he wanted to do it, he had an idea for it, and it was just Marvel has their slot, their slot for the next 5 years, and they know how their story's going to go. And it's hard for them just to have an idea for a film and say, yeah, we want to fit that in here. So it just didn't fit into their schedule. So
we should fight one another for the honor of leadership.
I got some blasters, unless you guys want to use knives.
Oh, yes, please. Use knives.
Yeah, knives.
I'm Groot.
Not necessary.
There shall be no knifing one another. Everybody knows who's in charge.
Me.
Right?
Yes, you. Of course. Of course. Of course.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my breakdown video for all the Guardians of the Galaxy spin-off movies that Drax here is talking about, as well as the other stuff that they've announced so far. Marvel does have big plans for more space-based movies during Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5. If you're new to the channel, we're doing that movie ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what the next big space-based character you want them to introduce is. Silver Surfer, Nova, who do you guys want? So we'll just break this down top 5 style, starting with number 5. So as he says, James Gunn has pitched a couple Guardians of the Galaxy spin-off movies. The Drax Mantis movie that Dave Bautista is talking about in this clip at the beginning of this is just one of those. The main reason being is that before a lot of the new Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5 movies that they've talked about that they're getting ready to do, there just weren't that many space-based Marvel movies with places for some of these weirder Guardians characters to show up. Peter Quill is from Earth. It's totally believable that he could show up on Earth in a future Avengers movie just to briefly pick them up and fly them wherever their next battle is, docking at the newly created Sword space station Nick Fury created at some point. Groot is one of those characters that you could put with almost any different team in the Marvel Universe, on Earth, anywhere else, and he would work really well, just as a great comedic addition. And when James Gunn was talking about this Drax Mantis spin-off, they didn't have the Disney Plus series yet, which are primarily created for stories that they didn't have space for in the movie release schedule, like he says, because Marvel can only do 3 to 4 movies per year if you count the Sony Spider-Man movies. Usually it's 3 per year, but with the Spider-Man movies it makes it 4. For the most part, Disney Plus is also for the stories that they don't think have quite as much box office potential as safer picks. Like WandaVision is a great example in the Hawkeye series. 2 really cool characters that wouldn't necessarily be as big of a box office draw as, say, Thor 4. You also get like 6 hours to tell a story instead of 2.5, and some stories just do not fit in that short theatrical runtime. Cue Avengers Endgame. Even though it was over 3 hours long, think about how much footage and scenes they left on the cutting room floor. Number 4, the main reason why they don't have space in their release schedule, even though they're doing up to 4 movies per year, is because now they have Deadpool 3, all the X-Men characters, a ton of X-Men characters, and all the Fantastic Four characters to deal with. That's in addition to them setting up the idea of a new Avengers roster, introducing all these new solo characters like Shang-Chi, Nova, Silver Surfer, Galactus, so many huge characters. There's just only so much space that they have, and they've already announced their schedule through 2022 and 2023. Even though some of these Marvel Phase 5 movies just have release dates, they haven't announced what they are. They just say untitled Marvel movie, although I have done a couple Marvel Phase 5 videos about what those are based on what their production schedule is, so I'll link some of those at the end of this. As much as I would be down for a Drax Mantis Disney Plus series, the reason why Dave Bautista says that they're not going to do that is just because, from a practical standpoint, the process of putting on his makeup is so torturous that he physically would not be able to withstand doing it for the duration of time it would take to film all 6 episodes, and it takes a lot longer to film the Disney Plus series than it does one of their big movies. What would that be about, though, the Drax Mantis spinoff? Well, mostly Drax is still dealing with the loss of his family, the completion of his revenge arc with Thanos, which is now kind of complete, because that was initially the reason why he joined the Guardians team, is because he wanted to get revenge against Thanos, and they got it during Avengers Endgame, so his arc should be complete. So both he and Mantis would presumably go start a new life together, because even though they didn't really have a romantic arc during the films through Guardians 2 and Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, they do form one of Marvel's better odd couples, the oddest of couples. But you'd have to imagine them getting into a bunch of crazy adventures, Kramering themselves from one situation to the next because of the way they interpret other people and social situations. So number 3, the other Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spin-off that James Gunn has spoken about earlier were Rocket and Groot spin-off. He talked about that when he was working on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, so some of those plans may have changed a little bit because Rocket is supposed to be one of the main characters of Guardians 3, focusing on him in a way that the previous movies haven't. You may have seen James Gunn responding to a lot of people on social media recently, getting upset with him, thinking that he's going to kill off Rocket for the same reason that they killed Groot in the first movie and then Yondu in the second movie. Even though we got another version of Groot, he is adamant that Groot died in the first film and that this is kind of like Groot's offspring. Technically, Groot's powers are a little bit different in the comics. He can regrow himself from a single twig. So if you're going by comic book rules, it's the same Groot, but if you're going by what James Gunn says, Baby Groot and then Teenage Groot are completely different versions of the character. Part of the reason why people think that he might kill Rocket off is that he'll complete his life's arc. He'll go from being this angry little trash panda with a laundry list of issues because of the terrible things that have happened to him in his life and wind up sacrificing himself selflessly to save the other Guardians, the same way that Groot did in the first film, the same way that Yondu did in the second film. Remember the scene that Rocket had with Yondu during Guardians 2, and talking about why he understood him, why he's such a crapbag to all of his friends, why you're so angry all the time, because I used to be exactly like you. Yondu found inner peace through the course of Guardians 2, sacrificed himself to save Peter Quill, his adopted son. They even both acknowledged it. Even though this guy is your birth father, he's not your real father, I'm your real father. When characters get that sort of self-actualization and completion of their arc, that's usually when people kill them off. Same thing happened to Iron Man and Black Widow in Avengers Endgame. They sort of complete their life's arc, the path that I set us on. So even though the Black Widow twist was a little more confusing, the Black Widow movie, which is going to be set during the past, will provide some more context for that. But I'll talk about that when I do more Black Widow videos. The other spin-off, although technically I don't consider it a spin-off, is Sylvester Stallone implied that his Guardians 3000 team might continue to show up again in future space-based movies. Number 2, what is going to happen to the Guardians roster after Guardians of the Galaxy 3 if James Gunn really is implying that at least one of the team members will be killed off? Remember, he's killed off one of the team members in every single movie, so they're probably going to do another one in number 3. Also, a lot of these Guardians actors' contracts are going to be up after Guardians 3, and some of them will come back, some of them will not come back. Chris Pratt has already said many times that he wants to pull a Chris Hemsworth Thor and keep coming back for more Marvel movies as long as they'll have him, so he's probably sticking around long term. If they're talking about doing Drax and Mantis spin-offs, it sounds like they were originally going to leave the team anyway. That leaves a lot of open spaces for new characters, so I think Thor would be amazing if he hung out with them after Thor 4 Love and Thunder for some real Asgardians of the Galaxy. Beta Ray Bill would be an amazing long-term addition to the team. And obviously, we're just heading into Marvel Phase 4 and Marvel Phase 5. There's going to be a bunch more space-based characters debuting during those movies, including X-Men characters who would all be great on a new Guardians roster. So there'll be a lot of other new characters that we haven't met yet, like Nova is a good example. He would be cool on a Guardians team. But number 1, as for Thor actually coming back during Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Chris Pratt was actually just talking about this recently in an interview. Here's a clip of that.
Thor, not in Guardians 3.
How do you know that Thor's not in Guardians 3? We haven't shot it yet. I think he might be in Guardians 3. You know? We don't know. There's no definitive yes or no on that.
Oh
Magic.
My. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
You'll just have to wait and see.
It's those, they've got you just
zip tight. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Can't say a word.
Chris Pratt's trying to be funny about it, but it sounds like he is implying Thor is supposed to have a cameo during Guardians 3. If it's not going to be a really big role, they just have to sign Chris Hemsworth to a new contract, so they haven't completely worked out all the red tape yet. But that is the idea, that Thor would cameo. Everyone, let me know in the comments, what kind of Guardians of the Galaxy spin-offs do you want to see after Guardians 3, and what do you want them to do with Thor after Thor 4 Love and Thunder, if he's not going to stay on Earth? Really hoping for that Thor Silver Surfer crossover. You could also do a Guardians Silver Surfer crossover too, but I'm mostly expecting Guardians 3 to introduce Adam Warlock. I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post my next Marvel video. Leave all your requests in the comments below. Everyone click here for that new Avengers Infinity Saga deleted scenes of Thor and one of Iron Man becoming Doctor Strange, and click here for my new Thor 4 Christian Bale video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.